गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः. Here in the fifth verse, we have seen till sixth I think, but in the fifth verse, क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिरवाप्यते. We are looking at the yoga of devotion, and in this, just in few lines to recap, we are seeing Arjun has asked, who is the best type of devotee? Is it the karma yogi, the bhakta yogi, or the jnana yogi? And in that, answering his question, we explained in detail. Answering his question, Bhagwan, he answers. He says, the one who is devoted to me, the one who is having faith in me, is greater than anyone. Is the greatest yogi. He didn't say greater than anyone else. He says he is the greatest yogi. And there, last two classes, or yesterday also, we explained what are the advantages of having a saguna sakara roop in front of you to contemplate on the Lord, to sing His glory, to take His name, and how it is difficult to follow the path of jnana where there is nothing in front of you. In jnana it is nirgun nirakar. So there is nothing. So how does Prakriti express itself? I am asking. How does Prakriti express itself?
Changes.
Vyakta, avyakta. Unmanifest and manifest. So when we say this is the trap for the jnana yogi, that his focus is on Prakriti. And Prakriti is of two types. Manifest, which is all names and forms, and unmanifest, which is absence of forms. So sometimes he can get into the wrong angle of contemplating on absence. So that is the challenge that stands in front of him. The jnana yogi, his approach to self-realization is through discrimination. What is discrimination? Vivek. We know Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka, Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. His approach is through Vivek. Vivek, who is doing? I am doing the Vivek, isn't it? I am discriminating between the real and the unreal, finite and the infinite, constant and the changing, so on. So attention is still on the I. I am doing it. I have to do it. And he has to be very, very alert not to get caught up in that I. He has to he has to think in such a way that he does not get caught up by the contemplation that he is doing, by the manifest or the unmanifest. Great alertness is required, vigilance is required. But for Bhakta Yogi, Bhakta Yogi is where? So there is no, I have to put efforts in Gyan Marga. But in Bhakti Marg, from the beginning he is thinking it is the Lord, everything is the Lord. For one more thing. So the Jnana Yogi, he looks at the Prakriti and he keeps saying, I am not the Prakriti, I am not the Prakriti, I am not the Prakriti. Therefore, you have seen or read or studied, I am not the body, I am not the breath, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. He keeps saying, I am not, I am not, I am not. Initially, that is how he begins. But Bhakta Yogi has got no problems like this. What does he do? His first and foremost belief is that everything is God. So he doesn't try to deny the world. He doesn't try to deny the Prakriti. He says Prakriti is also Lord, also Lord's. Potentiality is also Lord's. The Prakriti is also Lord's. So if everything is Lord's, why should I think about what to remove and what not to remove? That is not my concern. That is Lord's concern. I will only take, if Lord is everything, then I will only focus on the Lord. I will only remember the Lord with love and faith. And what is that faith? That I am His and He is mine. We are not separate. And in this way, he continues. And this till here we said yesterday, and here today's verse, Klesho dikataraste avyakta sakta chedasam avyakta higate dukkham dehavat bhiravapyate. The difficulty in following the discipline of those whose minds are attached to the unmanifest is greater, for the unmanifest is hard to reach by the body conscious beings. And this also I explained yesterday, that as long as body consciousness is there, as long as you are thinking about your health, your ill health, your past, your future, you are thinking about your husband or wife or children or parents or whatever, in the name of duty, in the name of service, in the name of whatever, guilt, that also is there. I am here for so many years, I want to go back and take care of my family. Guilt. So, for such people, realization is not possible. Discrimination means must have the courage to let go, or what does your teacher keep saying, Bhandarkarji? Give up. Keep giving up. What is changing? So whatever is changing, keep giving up. Keep giving up. But it requires a lot of courage. You have to put a stone on your heart, because that is not everything that is changing. I have to let go. And does that mean that you have to let go of your parents physically? No. But for a jnani, he has to. The importance giving has to be given up. So you have to go work or negotiate through your guilts and regrets that might well up while you are doing this contemplation. Whereas a devotee, what does he do? He doesn't give up anything. He says, Are yaar, parents also Bhagwan has created. World also Bhagwan has created. This body also Bhagwan has created. Health and disease also Bhagwan has created. Everything Bhagwan has created. I will only remember the Bhagwan. Rest is up to him, what he does. I will forward him one small booklet, only 60-70 pages. The book is called In Quest of God. Have you heard of it? Probably I sent you, but others. So, In Quest of God. You remember in the retreat I mentioned Papa Ramdas? It is his life. You read it, you will be thrilled. If you start reading it, you will not stop. It is that. Chota sa hi hai. And we can send it to you online and you can just read it. So here he says that as long as the body consciousness is there, it is very difficult for one in the Gyan Marg to give up his body identification, and as a result he remains separate from the realization that he is seeking. And thus we spoke of all these points. Now we come to the next verse. Where are we? repeat after me. Ye tu sarvani karmani, ye tu sarvani karmani, mahi sanyasya matparaha, mahi sanyasya matparaha, ananyenaiva yogena, ananyenaiva yogena, मां ध्यायन्त उपासते, मां ध्यायन्त उपासते. ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते. I think we did this also. But those who worship me, surrendering all actions in me to me, regarding me as the supreme goal, meditating on me with single-minded devotion. Who is doing this? The devotee is doing it, because Jnani begins with discrimination. Karma yogi begins with, I have to do something, I have to put efforts. Devotee begins with the Lord. He remembers the Lord. His focus is the Lord. His sadhana is the Lord. Thinking of the Lord, and his conclusion is the Lord. From beginning till end is only the divine, the God principle himself. So, and after realization, what happens to him? After he merges into the Lord, then what happens to him? See, in the Gyan Yogi, when he gets established in the Nirgun Nirakar Brahma, he experiences constant bliss. Constant bliss. Whereas a devotee, when he gets merged into the divine, what will he experience? I told yesterday, if you remember, but I'll be happy if you forget. What will he experience? He will experience expanding bliss. That bliss which is increasing with every passing moment, with every passing day, with every passing experience. Why? Why will he? I gave this example also, you forget. Because the universe is continuously expanding. So that divine, the Lord, who is the whole universe, and he has merged into that divine, continuous expansion of bliss. New levels of bliss he keeps experiencing with every passing moment. And here Bhagavan says, but those who worship me, surrendering all actions to me. What are the all actions? That before you begin the work, during the work, and after the work. What other is action? Manasa, Vacha, Kaya is action, isn't it? Action means what? Movement. So where is movement? Thoughts are moving. Breath is moving, but we can't think breath. Breath cannot think. Speech is moving, isn't it? And body is moving. So wherever there is movement, there is activity. Ownership of activity is called action. Understand this. Ownership of activity is called action. And when you are having no ownership of action, then what is it called? Activity. Both. I'm repeating this. I repeated this in the retreat. Action also gives you result. Activity also gives you result. Karma phala is there. You see, you know, if you do karma, karma means ownership of activity is called karma. Where karma phala is there. And where there is no ownership of activity, it is called kriya. Kriya phal. Kriya phal is also there. Every action must give you a result necessarily. But karma phal is binding. Kriya phal is non-binding. Understand? Is there any likes and dislikes when you do the activity of blinking your eyes? Oh, yaar, it was so beautiful scene I was seeing, and I have to and I close my eyes. Do you ever say I close my eyes? They automatically blink. No, so blinking of the eye is activity. Breathing is activity. Pranayam is action. Understand what I'm saying?
I have a question. Sorry, I can ask later.
Ask. Otherwise, you will be only thinking of that question for
I
the
will
next.
forget. So the Kriya Pal and Karma Pal, because they are different, is the power.
I'm
because
telling,
the power of
listen. So, karma phala is binding because it leaves an impression. Kriya phal is not binding because it does not leave an impression. Why does it not leave an impression? Because there is no owner of the activity. In karma phala, there is a owner of the activity, isn't it? That is why that kriya is called as karma. Then I was giving you just now examples of how in your that where kriya is going on. So body is moving, no karma. Kriya is my hands are moving so many times, eyes are blinking. Sometimes my hand just goes and does this or brings the shawl. No karma phala because it's happening just naturally. But if I start moving my body with ownership, moving the body with ownership is called what? Yoga, asana. So taking ownership of the body and moving the body is called asana or yoga. Taking ownership of the breath is automatically moving kriya, but you take ownership of it. The moment you take ownership of it, what is breathing called? Pranayam. Mind is continuously thinking by itself, but it is wayward, it is going in different directions. We take control of it. What is it called? Thinking, contemplation, isn't it? So here we are. So when we take control of our thinking, it becomes an action. But when we think of the Lord, it doesn't become action. Because the bhav inside our heart is that the Lord is making this thought appear, the Lord is making this thought stay, the Lord is making this thought go. And if that has not happened, afterwards He will answer that even if you remember the Lord before the action, during the action, after the action, that is also okay. If that is not done, the next verse he says that even if you perform the action with ego and then surrender the karma phala, the fruit of the action, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, that you give up or surrender the karma phala at the feet of the Lord, that is also okay. See, and this karma phala is what is making us get born again and again, because that is going as sanchit karma, that then appears as prarabdha karma. So our idea is that while we are living, we do not produce any memory. Can we live like that? You can. Jnana Yogi tries that, but it is hard to empty your mind. But Bhakta Yogi, what he does, he says, if my mind cannot stop thinking, theek hai, it doesn't mind. I will change the thought of the mind only. What is the thought of the mind? Instead of thinking about the world, I will start thinking about the God who created the world. And he starts taking the name of the Lord with sincerity, with bhav, with devotion. And he is not denying the world. Jnana Yogi denies the world. Neti, world is not, Prakriti is not, that which is changing is to be discarded. But Bhakta Yogi, he doesn't discard anything, he is seeing everything as the divine expression. And in this manner, here Bhagwan is telling, he who worships me, yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara, means who surrenders, he who renounces all the actions in toto to me, surrendering all action to ananya naiva yogena mam dhyayanto upasate, and mam dhyayanto upasate, and does upasna of me by any which way you can. So here it is not told to the devotee or Bhagwan is not telling the devotee that you have to leave your home and go to the ashram, that to leave the home and give up your children and husband or wife, to give up the home and go into a cave in the Himalayas. He is not saying that. He is saying, so in our scriptures, nowhere it is said that action has to be renounced. You cannot renounce activity. You, at any given moment of your existence, you will be performing some activity. All you have to do is surrender it to the Lord, or see that all this activity is prompted by the Lord Himself, not by me. And that is true. Everything in Prakriti is happening by itself. Where is your Prakriti at an individual level? Waking, dream, deep sleep, samadhi. Waking, dream, deep sleep, samadhi keep coming and going by themselves. You don't initiate it. You don't initiate the sleep. You don't initiate the dream. You don't initiate the waking. Morning comes, automatically you wake up. Evening comes, automatically you go to sleep. So in this manner, he is saying that Mam Dhyayanto Upasate, Dhyana is, if you have studied or heard Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, you have heard? What is the difference between Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi? Here the word is Dhyayanta. So that's why I am bringing these terms. What is the difference between Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi? Dharana means intermittent remembrance of the Lord. Okay? Dharana is with respect to space. You have just started, your mind is withdrawn from the world, interest is gone, you are still performing what is to be performed, but you want to focus on the Lord. And if you don't find some place in your body, I told in the retreat, either the third eye or the Kanthakoop or the heart, take one point and you focus, keep your attention there and keep chanting the name of the Lord. So you need some location in order to blast through all limitations in space. So you need that. That is the process. Now, why? No, this, I will not. You do what you want. This is the process. Dharana means focusing on the name of the Lord, so that, and at some point within your body, preferably these three, and then merging into or going to the next level. And what is, so that is dharana. Then what is dhyan? So if dharana was intermittent remembrance of the divine, my attention is here, I am saying Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Suddenly one thought comes, यार तूने वो बिल नहीं पे किया, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय. अरे what time is my flight going? 27th or 28th? Oh, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So this is intermittent. Intermittent can, when it comes to dhyan, dhyan becomes, you can be chanting Om Namah Shivaya for 10 minutes, and then after some time, 5-10 minutes, a disturbance comes. Right? Mind has purified. So you're chanting for 5 minutes Om Namah Shivaya, then suddenly the thought comes, oh, it's so hot. But why am I thinking of heat? Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Again you dive into the mantra, and after another 10 minutes pass. And again, after 10 minutes, some disturbance comes, either from outside or from inside. Again you get disturbed. Now, the total sitting of 15 minutes, 5 and 10, was dharana. But within that 15 minutes, there was dhyan of 5 minutes and another dhyan of 10 minutes. Continuous remembrance of the divine without any disturbance. And this slowly keeps expanding by itself. It will go to half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Only if you apply, and not mechanically, with love, with surrender, with samarpan, with the thirst and urgency to be one with the Lord. And that urgency is directly proportional to your love and faith in the Lord. Otherwise, what will happen? Where do the disturbances come from? Whatever you have given importance. If you have given importance to your lunch and dinner, then that will be the disturbance. If there is some guilt or some regret. ये थोड़ा पानी देना. What? Thalipit is coming out. So, if there is some guilt, regret, unfinished desires in your mind, and they were kept on the side, and you dived into the name of the Lord, they will come and demand attention. And as long as they keep demanding attention, dharana. But in between, dhyan. So here, dhyayanta, mam dhyayanta upasate means single pointedly, without any deflection, without any disturbance, keep remembering me. This way, Bhagwan is. And when we do continuous dhyan, remember, dhyan is continuous remembrance of the Lord. When your mind is continuously immersed in remembering the Lord, is the world entering into your mind for those 10, 15 minutes, half an hour that you are completely immersed? I'm not talking dharana, but that 15, 20 minutes of continuous immersion. The world has gone out of your mind. Your body identification may have gone out of your mind. You have lost the sense of time. Like yesterday, we lost the sense of time. 1.5 hours suddenly. So when you are immersed in something, understand this is how you are functioning on a daily basis. You are immersed in your children, therefore you forget everything and you do for your children. When you are immersed in doing the japa of the Lord with bhav, with love and surrender and faith, you forget the sense of time. And once you start, initially it will be short period, and slowly the period will keep getting extended. And for that is required single pointed attention to the Lord. Single pointed means that attention which is not hijacked by any other thought of the world. And the only way you can bring that about is by completely surrendering to the Lord. Having complete faith in the Lord. You remember what did we say? What is love and what is faith? Or forgotten already? Forgotten? Batao. What is the difference?
Love means complete devotion.
Love possesses.
Possession.
Love possesses. Love is emotional. And faith is
Taking care and trusting.
trust, care, surrender, conviction. Today I am loving Ganesh because it is Ganesh Chaturthi. But tomorrow I will change it to Ramchandraji because it is Diwali. Happens, no? And with the same fervor, we will go for Ram Leela. With the same fervor, we will do the puja. Then after that, suddenly in December, Datta Jayanti comes. Suddenly we forget the Ganpati also. We forget the Ramchandraji also. Now we are for Dattatreya. And there we start thinking, oh, this is very good because Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are in one. Oh, Dattatreya Maharaj. And just after few days after that, Hanuman Jayanti comes. So हमारा love is also changing. So love is at the mental level. Mind is emotional. Mind is fickle. Love is at our mental level. But faith, greater than love, is faith. And faith is at the intellect level. And once the love at the emotional level can keep changing or increasing, decreasing. But once you have faith, then you have commitment. There is no reason, but you yourself decided you have faith. What is that? These are my parents. Do you have any proof that your parents are your parents other than the piece of paper saying that you were born to these parents? There is no other proof. But you have faith, isn't it? You also have faith in that nurse that your child was given to you. in the hospital that someone else's child was not given, isn't it? One stranger you came across and you have faith that I am committed to him for the rest of my life. That is faith. That is faith. This is not at the emotional level. This is at intellectual level, where you have become convinced that this is my role. So similarly, we have to become convinced that we are not other than God. God is pervading me and I am one with the God. This whole world is nothing but God. This conviction has to come. Ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So in this way, so we continue into the next verse. But if you are not able to do that, repeat after me. Teshamaham samuddharta mrityu sansara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. So here he is giving an assurance, Bhagwan. There also he gave Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. What is that? Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yejana Paripasade Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. So assurance was, whatever you need I will provide and whatever you have I will protect. Yoga is what you need. Whatever you want to be unite with. Yoga is union. But we are, more intelligent than God. We want to unite with the world. I want to unite with the ice cream. I want to unite with coffee. I want to unite with people as friends and colleagues. I want to unite with countries. I want to visit different countries. I want to unite with the past by remembering the past. I want to unite with future by remembering the future. Hoping this will happen, that will happen, creative imagination. So, this is yoga, because yoga means union. And kshema means that which you already have, that he will protect. So Bhagwan is not saying that whatever you want to unite with, I will make you united. He says, whatever you need, I will unite you with that. And what is your ultimate need? Paramatma Tattva or Bhagwan, I will take you there. And while that journey is on, whatever needs to be taken care of, what is to be taken care of? Your circumstances, what is your basic needs, food, shelter and clothing. Everything he will take care of. Or whatever you have already, suppose I have already collected a portfolio of 10 properties and some shares and this and that. Now I am becoming a devotee and I have heard that if you become devotee, you lose everything. Bhagwan takes away everything. Then you remember this mantra, Yoga Kshemama, nothing will be taken. Similarly, Bhagwan here, he is saying that to those whose mind is fixed on me. So before he said, Dhyayato Vishayan, here it is saying, not Dhyayato Vishayan, he said, Dhyayantam Upasate. So those who fix their mind on me or steady their mind on me or single-pointedly think of me. Again he is saying the same thing. Those whose mind is fixed on me now, those they were making the attempt to do it, dharana, now it is done. So those whose mind is fixed on me, Bhagwan is giving the assurance, Uddharta Mrityu Sansara Sagarat. This world, this universe in which we are living, this creation that we are living, the only truth here is death, not life. Only truth is death. At the worldly level, only truth is death. Every moment is dying. Every breath is dying. Every day is dying. Every night is dying. Every waking is dying. Every dream is dying. Every sleep is dying. So this is the principle. Scriptures only talk on principles point of view. So this is the principle. It is not specific for you people who are listening to satsang. It is common denominator for every person, every living thing in this creation. Everything that has come into existence has come with the expiry date. Correct? We don't know what the expiry date is. So prepare. If we don't know what is our expiry, prepare. So here he says that those who have fixed their mind on me, I straight away deliver them from the ocean of this world, which is nothing but, which is only going towards death. It's only going towards destruction every moment. Many of the stars, just at the physical level, all the stars that you see and many galaxies that you see, the light takes billions and billions of years to come to you. But in those billions and billions years, physically those galaxies or those planets or those stars, they may not be even existing today. But you think that it is there because the light reached you now. Maybe they are not there. See? So understand that just as the ocean contains nothing but water, and similarly this world contains nothing but death, continuous death. Then why you are not saying life? Why you are not saying life? Why you are saying only death? Because you are alive, you can never die. Then why we are focusing on the death? Because your attention is on the world. And as long as your attention is on the world, you are going to do something to survive. Why? Because you have not come to this realization that you are deathless. World is changing, change is death. In this way, when a person and we don't have to die even physically in order to experience death. When today's children's language, I don't know here how they speak, but in Australia, I hate this. If I don't get that, I will die. This is how the children speak nowadays, isn't it? So when things are not agreeable to us, we die. When things are not conducive to our wishes, we die. When things are not going according to what we have planned in life, we die. Then when did we live? सोचो ना जरा. उसके लिए, to live, your attention has to go to the conscious principle. Either in Gyan Marg, it goes to the self, and in Bhakti Marg, it goes to the Lord. Then living begins. As long as your attention is on the inert world, the changing world, you are only inviting death into your life. Accept, understand. So even more urgency that we remember the Lord. And this is the exclusive devotion that is required. Exclusive devotion means he is not distracted by anything. See, there are 5 types of mind, conditions of mind. Did I tell them in the retreat? Which retreat? Good. I like it. So there is 5 conditions of mind. Moodha mana. Moodha means dull mind. Not interested in anything. Total tamas. Then second is kshipta mana. Kshipta mana is agitated mind, restless mind. Which is this mind? Too much rajas. Too many desires. And when desire, and continuously such people you will see, they are unhappy about every damn thing in life because there's some deep desire somewhere which is not getting fulfilled, and they are comparing themselves, competing with others, and thus always never at peace with themselves. And second is, first was Mudha Mana, we are talking about the mind. Mudha Mana, Kshipta Mana. Third is Vikshipta Mana. Vikshipta mana means, that is our category. Distracted people, distracted mind. So we are not agitated or restless. Sometimes we may get agitated or restless, but most of the time we are distracted. We are sitting here in a satsang, we'll be thinking about the children, what would the daughter be doing? We are thinking about giving the lecture and thinking about, hope my flight goes on time on the Wednesday. Distraction. And sitting here and thinking, who's going to take me today? Distraction. Lecture is going on, but distraction. Everything, something or the other comes and hijacks our mind and doesn't allow us to remain focused. So we all want satsang. We all go to satsang, isn't it? Why we go to satsang? To get distracted or to become focused? To become focused. But the moment satsang concludes, what happens to you? You get distracted. Again, only the child, only the family, only the wife, only the husband, only my house, everything, my. And what was satsang about? All. It was about God. It was about the divine. And suddenly you again crystallize your personality as an individual after the satsang. See? So, first was Mudha Mana, second was Kshipta Mana. You heard of these words? Third was Vikshipta Mana. So, Mudha Mana was dull mind, Kshipta Mana was agitated or restless mind, Vikshipta Mana is distracted mind. Then we leave the fourth and we come to the fifth, which is Niruddha Mana. Niruddha Mana is zero mind. Sometimes you must have seen, I have seen your daughter also, gets up in the morning, empty. And I put my hand in front of her. She's in a trance, you see, in a gaga land, not thinking anything, not projecting anything. So that is Niruddha Mana. This happens on seat of meditation. So all these four conditions of mind are not conducive to sadhana. Then there was fourth one we missed. What was the fourth one? You can imagine. Ekagra Mana. Ekagra, single pointedness of mind, concentrated mind, focused mind. That is the basic requirement in order to move ahead in our devotion, move ahead in our spiritual journey, whether Gyan Marg, Karma Marg or Bhakti Marg. But that is me. Here Bhagavan is saying, with that Ekagra Mana, fix your attention on me. And then when you fix your attention, the Ekagra Mana, understand, for your understanding, when you think of Ekagra Mana, single pointed mind, it comes, pointed like an arrow, pointed like you got a magnifying glass, the rays of the sun are passing through that glass and they become concentrated. That is concentration, focus. It can burn away everything, isn't it? But in scriptures, Ekagra Mana, single pointed mind, is equal to focused mind, is equal to concentrated mind, is equal to expanded mind. We are thinking only linear way, that the mind only becomes like this, it's becoming pointed. But in that pointedness, where no clutter is allowed to be given value by the mind, it's focused only on the divine, and that divine is infinite in nature, the mind starts expanding. This you have to do, practice, in order to experience. So single pointed mind is expanded mind, is equal to pure mind. Shuddha mana is single pointed mind. What is that Shuddha mana? Where there are no distractions possible. Understand? So your commitment to your family is ekagra mana. No, as anything anyone can say, you will not get distracted. But you also know there are other people who have got distracted, isn't it? So understand. Mudha mana, Kshipta mana, Vikshipta mana, Ekagra mana and Niruddha mana. At any given moment in your life, you determine which condition of my mind is. Straight away you can correct yourself. Without becoming, oh, poor me, no self-attention, no self-pity. Mind is emotional, mind is crying, I'm not crying. Is it not right that person should not speak to me like this? What is the condition of the mind? Kshipta. Get out of it. What do? Become ekagra. How do you do ekagra? Bhagwan ka naam. Arey yaar, Bhagwan ka naam le ke thak gaya. Okay, start reading. Go out and start reading, or do some physical work, or do something. Shift your attention and do something with focus. That feeling of helplessness, feeling of persecution, feeling of being used, all these unwanted emotions we keep feeling every now and then because we are given too much value to the world. When you give value to the Lord, all these other values giving stops. This is called ekagra mana. And in this way, clear hai na? So in this way, the disciple or the devotee, as he makes his mind focused on the divine, to that extent his body identification starts. He starts losing body identification, not because he wants to. Jnani wants to lose body identification, so he has to control his senses, control his mind. Devotee is just remembering the Lord with love, with faith, thinking with this attitude that he alone is everything. I don't have to worry about anything. Complete giving up, no holding back. To that extent, body identification. Every night, I repeat, I give this example. You single-pointedly think of sleep every night, isn't it? And when you surrender to the sleep, what happens? At that very moment, body disidentification goes away. World identification goes away, body identification goes away, breath identification goes away, mind identification goes away. That I am a human being, this idea also goes away from your mind, isn't it? Can we recreate that while living without sleeping? We can. We can. Try. Have faith in the Lord, not in the sleep. So every day your mind is becoming empty, only thinking of sleep. But then you wake up because you are in that sleep, you are one with God, but you don't know it. Therefore you wake up. Can we recreate that waking sleep by remembering the Lord and allowing Him to empty our mind? It is possible. Apply. Find the same intention, the same focus, the same surrender to the sleep. You know how to do it because you are doing it every night. You don't get distracted by anything when you are ready to go to sleep, isn't it? You will scold your children, get to it. Mummy has to go to work tomorrow. You tell other times also. But let the Lord bring that about in your mind. फिर देखो मजा. And when that happens, when mind merges into the Lord by fixing upon the Lord, when mind thinks about the sleep, it merges or gets sucked into the sleep, isn't it? It gets absorbed in sleep. When mind if you bring the same conditions in your mind, when you think of the Lord, your mind, because your identity is only in your mind, you get absorbed in the Lord. Then you and Lord are not separate. This is the culmination of devotion. Now Bhagavan knows, you are fixing the mind. Mood mana, vikshipta mana, ekagra mana, baapre, it's so difficult. I can do niruddha mana, I can take alcohol and become niruddha, I can take drugs and become niruddha, and the other three, the mood, kshipta and vikshipta, they are normal, but I don't know how to do ekagra mana. He also understands. He saw Arjun. If you can't do this, what I told you, I'll give you another option. This is how compassionate our Bhagavan is. So he says in this next verse, that was the general principle that he gave. Now he is telling Arjun specifically. Till here it was general. That fix your whoever fixes his mind on me, I make him free from the death. Now he says, repeat after me, Mayyeva mana adhatsva, Mayyeva mana adhatsva, Mahi buddhim niveshaya, Mahi buddhim niveshaya, Nivasishyasi mayyeva, Sishyasi mayyeva, Ata urdhvam na samshayaha, Ata urdhvam na samshayaha. He is giving an order to the Arjun. Because through Arjun, he is dictating to us. Because why is Lord telling us? Why should we listen to him? Well, Lord is everything that there is. And he has only our interest at his heart. See, he is also looking for avenues where he can express more and more. God cannot. Electricity is continuously looking for ways to express. But it needs some fit instrument through which it can express. If the bulb is fused, the electricity switch is on, electricity is flowing, but no light is coming. Understand? Similarly, Lord is everywhere. He is expressing, but we are fused. Why? Our attention is continuously on the world. We are not available to the Lord. How will he express? So here through Arjun he is saying, Arjun, for command, Mayyeva mana adatsva, Mai buddhim niveshaya. Apply your mind and intellect to me. Let your intellect enter into me, pierce into me. The mind will follow. Because what is intellect? I. What is mind? All other thoughts, isn't it? So you are chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Who is chanting Om Namah Shivaya? Where is Om Namah Shivaya being chanted? In the mind or the intellect? It's not a difficult question. You should know. Om Namah Shivaya is being chanted in the mind. Who is chanting? I am chanting. That is in the intellect. Where is the conviction that I should chant Om Namah Shivaya? That is in the intellect. Where is the idea that if I do this, I will, the Lord will make me free from death and take care of Yogakshema? Where is that? That is not in the mind, that is in the intellect. Everything that I see, hear, touch, feel, taste, inside, outside, everything is nothing but the Lord. Where is this? It is not in the mind, it is in your intellect. It's a conviction. You understand? So here Bhagavan is saying to Arjun, fix thy mind on me alone and fix thy intellect on me. So, Mayyeva mana adhatsva. Yoke your mind to me. Adhatsva. Like a horse is yoked to the reins. So you yoke yourself, your mind to me. If you remember the chariot, Bhagwan is sitting at the seat of intellect. And the senses are the horses, the reins are the mind. Where are they yoked? The senses, from every horse there are two reins coming. But Where are they coming and concluding? In the hand, only in one hand, that also left hand, in the left hand of Krishna, isn't it? And if the charioteer is strong, he will be able to control the horses. If the charioteer is weak, the horses will pull the charioteer and he will fall this way. अरे इसको कैसे पकड़ो, फिर दोनों हाथ चाहिए, सब कुछ चाहिए. But Krishna Bhagwan, it is Krishna Bhagwan himself. And that is the seat of intellect. Where Krishna Bhagwan is sitting on that chariot is the seat of intellect. How convinced are we? How convinced are we that God is everything? To that extent, your senses will come under control. To that extent, your mind will come under control. And what is that conviction? That this I that I am is a part of the Lord. From devotion point of view, I is the ansh of the Lord. The Lord alone is expressing as the individual consciousness. And then, Mai buddhim niveshaya. Nivesha means enter. Make your buddhi enter into me means make the I recognize that this I and the total consciousness are not separate. Or the I or the Bhagwan are not separate. That this I is a part of the Bhagwan. In 7th chapter, Bhagwan says, Sutre Manigana Iva, isn't it? That I created the creation. I am like this garland, the chain, and the whole creation is strung in me. So Bhagwan is in me also. Bhagwan, in the 9th chapter, he said, I created the creation, then I entered the creation. He said, the whole creation is in me and I am in the whole creation. Because remember, we are in the 12th chapter. So he has already said all this. Arjun also knows it. He is an intelligent student. Fix thy intellect on me alone. Don't allow your intellect to waver. Don't allow your intellect to appreciate any other theme in life other than Bhagwan saying me. And when Bhagwan is saying me, is he on an ego trip? No. Which me? Who is this me? Bhagwan is saying. He has already shown him in the 11th chapter the Vishwarup Darshan. So here Bhagwan is taking the form of the Saguna Sakar. In the 12th chapter, he is taking the form of Bhagwan is except because Bhagwan knows. He is nothing and he is everything. He is the smaller than the smallest and he is the larger than the largest. So when he is saying, Mai buddhim niveshaya, Bhagwan knows that he is the Ishvara or he is the Saguna Sakar Roop, and he is saying, you fix your mind on me alone. Do not change it to anyone else. Do not change the theme. Don't give options to your mind. Nivasishyasi mayyeva atav urdhvam na sanchaya. And if you do that, nivasishyasi means you will start living in me from that moment onwards. Just like for the deep sleep, once you enter into the sleep, you live in sleep for those 2, 3, 5 hours, isn't it? You have got no idea about the world. You have got no idea of space-time objectivity. You have got no idea of your nears and dears. You have got no idea about your portfolios and income and job and employ. Nothing. You're only in the bliss of sleep, isn't it? Why? You applied your intellect. You made a decision that it is important. Why it is important? If I don't go to sleep, tomorrow I'll be ineffective in life. When you realize this, make this conviction, have this conviction that if I don't realize God and don't live in Lord, my whole life is a waste. That conviction you have to make. I can't make for you. I can only share it. We have to make that have that conviction that enough of sleep. Now it is important that someone was telling me day before yesterday, that their mother keeps chanting your husband's mother. She keeps chanting 18, 19 malas of japa every day. And her back is hurting, this, that. She says, I don't care, but the joy that I get from chanting is more than the pain that can attract my attention. And she keeps chanting. Living in a village, simple. We need to uncomplicate our life. And the only way is become convinced that Lord is. Become convinced that this whole creation is nothing but divine. I don't have the eyes to see the Lord everywhere. The gopis could not see the Lord everywhere. But as their love for the Krishna, Kanha, kept increasing, and slowly what happened? In the trees they are seeing the Lord, in the bushes they are seeing the Lord, in the cows and calves they are seeing the Lord, in everything they are seeing even in their husband they are seeing the Lord. Same way Brahmaji, he thought, who is this fellow who is doing all this? They say he is my boss. Who's boss of Brahmaji? Narayana. They say he is Narayana. Let me go and test him. He is testing his own boss. We have also made that mistake, testing our boss. You get the treatment. So he went and tested. He took the whole zing bang gang of his calves and cows and gopas and put them into a cave. And Krishna is worried, thinking, where are these fellows? Why have they not come? They just went behind the mountain, went and looked there, nobody there. Then Krishna is Krishna, closes his eyes. अच्छा, ब्रह्मा जी की चाल है? तो इनको भी बताना पड़ेगा कि मैं कौन हूँ. So he creates a duplicate creation, same number of calves, same number of cows, same number of gopas, with the same form. And they, for one full year on earth, they are living like that. And all the mothers and all the cows, because before what Brahmaji has put in the cave are someone's children. But now what is going back to their mothers and cows is Krishna himself multiplied into all this. So the love of the mothers towards their children is increasing every day. The love of the cows towards their calves is increasing every day. And in that love, more milk is coming. The whole Gokul is very happy. More milk. Everyone is happy. Because for one full year they are enjoying Krishna's creation. And there Brahmaji is thinking, for Brahmaji it was a blink of an eye. 1 year is passed. He says, Arey, nothing happened. Life is still going on the earth. Look, came down. No, before that. So when he did this, he saw that this has happened and he said, चलो अभी इनको मैंने मजा चखा दिया, अब मैं अपने वापस जाता हूँ. He goes back to Brahmalok. When he goes to the entrance of the Brahmalok, the Dwarpal, he says, you cannot enter. Why? We already have a Brahmaji. We don't know who you are. Where is your pass? He says, this is fake. The original one is sitting there. So Brahmaji says, nahi yaar, I am the one. How can you forget me? I have been taking care of you for so many eons. And you are saying that there is another Brahmaji there. How can that be possible? How it is possible in the first place? Because there is only one Brahmaji. Brahmaji thought there is only one Brahmaji. Then when all his tries are not giving any result, again, what to do? Chalo, let's see what experiment we did, what is happening. He comes back. Everything is going on as smoothly. And then suddenly, and Krishna Bhagwan is sitting there on the tree playing his flute, and he's focused. And when he comes back down, then he realizes that I have gone wrong somewhere. And suddenly he looks around everywhere, in every flower, in every, like this flower, in every petal, in every leaf, in every grain of sand, he sees one Brahmaji sitting. Suddenly his whole idea that I am the creator just blasts out of his mind, and he comes and falls at the feet of that baby Krishna, Kanha, and he says, I am sorry. And then the original creation comes back, and this is what we are talking about as applying your intellect. That's why Brahmaji is the intellect. Apply your intellect. And how do you do it? With faith, with conviction, and make a decision and work towards it. And Bhagavan is telling here that you shall live in me entirely, and atav urdhvam na sanshaya. Na sanshaya means there is no doubt. And ata urdhvam is you will raise yourself and live in me forever and ever and ever. There is no doubt about it. Now this, if someone gives you this assurance, Bhagavan is giving through Arjuna to us only. Still people don't follow. Why? Where is the importance? Everything other than God. Everything other than God. So correct yourself. Continuing, we can talk lot more about it, but let's see, the life is changing in the creation, in us also. Body is changing, mind is changing, breath is changing, intellect is changing, world is changing. In this world, the body is also part of the world, that is also changing with the Panchakoshas. So in other words, what is changing? If you put the whole thing together, Prakriti is changing, isn't it? And is the soul changing? Is the Atma changing? Whether you call Atma or soul. Atma is the conscious self, soul is self with thoughts. That is soul. Or memories, not thoughts, with memories. So, is that changing? Is the soul changing? We say soul, when a person dies, the soul goes and takes another body. So, where did soul die? Soul didn't die, body died. So, you were a child, then you were a teenage, then you were a youth, then you were now grown up and we are getting old. Then what, all these changes are seen where? In the body. Consciousness has not changed, consciousness has remained the same. Only with reference to the change in body, we say, I was a child, now I am matured. Before I was a teenager, now I am a youth. Before I was a youth, now I am a grahastha. Before I was a grahastha, now I am a sannyasi, etc., etc. Goes on, isn't it? So we have not changed. Recognize this. A jnani has to think all this. Baap re, itna sochna padega. Bhakta, he doesn't have to work all this out. He only holds on to the name of the Lord and the Lord reveals everything. What is leverage? Leverage is, you understand leverage? Leverage means doing more with less. That is what is called outsourcing. खुद कुछ मत करो, बाकी किसी को दे दो करने के लिए, है ना, सस्ते में. इसीलिए सब इंडिया जाते हैं. हमको भी सस्ते में करना है. सब कुछ चाहिए पर सस्ते में, बिना खर्चा किए. तो क्या करेंगे? उसी को देंगे जिसके पास कैपेबिलिटी है. किसके पास कैपेबिलिटी है? भगवान के पास. उसको आउटसोर्स कर दो सब कुछ. Outsource your happiness to him. He will make sure everything is taken. But you have to apply. You have to make a decision to give him everything that you are. Then he will take care of it. अलग अलग तरीके से सोचोगे, अलग अलग आंसर आते रहेंगे. और सबसे बड़ी बात तो यह है कि we cannot realize God. We cannot realize God. So till now we are using the word that you will merge this, that, etc., etc. What is happening is this consciousness that is here, the individual, the jiva, he is part of the Bhagwan, isn't he? He is the ansh of the Bhagwan. So how can a drop of water and the infinite waters of the ocean, is the quality different? This is also H2O, that is also H2O. Correct or not? So where is the difference? There is no difference. Exactly the same way, the Ansha, the individual that I am, the individual consciousness that I am, and the infinite consciousness, God consciousness that is, it's one and the same. Then what is happening in God realization? We are thinking of the God, fixing our mind on the God, having become convinced that God is everything. In that approach, everything that was coming between me and God, what was coming between me and God? Prakriti. The Prakriti keeps going away, keeps vanishing away, keeps dissolving away. And then when it's completely dissolved, what happens? The individual, the language is the individual merges into the divine. But the quality of the individual consciousness and the God consciousness was the same. He just realizes that he and God are one. And how does he realize this? Not by thought, without a thought. How do you know that you had a good sleep? What is sleep? When the whole world goes out of your mind, you merge into sleep, isn't it? Into bliss. How do you know it was a wonderful sleep? While sleeping, you cannot think. Then how do you know?
If your body and mind are relaxed.
But how do you know in sleep you have no memory? There were no thoughts. Then how do you know you had a good sleep? Who is saying it? The waker is saying it. How can waker say that he had a good sleep when he can't enter into deep sleep? So someone else was awake. And that is the pure consciousness. That is the God consciousness. So even though the words are the similar, we think I am saying it, but it's stupid. Waker can never say that. Same way, when saints and sages, they merge into the divine, still they are able to speak, still they are able to talk, they are still able to eat and do everything. Everything they were doing before is going on. But they are completely unavailable to the world. They are only available to the Lord. This is possible for you and me also in this lifetime. Only thing is love at the level of mind towards the Lord and conviction and faith towards in the divine, that it alone is. हो गया time? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. And through Arjun, Bhagwan is saying that this fellow has not still understood what I saw. He's give one more level down, he comes and gives him another option. Still Arjun will not understand, or he understands, but through him he is giving it to us, because we are so many variety of people on earth with different levels of our acumen of understanding. So 2-3 options more he gives, how we can surrender to God, or what is the, if you can't do this, you do this. If you can't do this, you do this. If you can't do this, you do that. He keeps in 4 verses, he says that. We will look at it in our next class. Is it tomorrow? Tomorrow. So which means we will not be able to complete the chapter. But if you just inculcate these qualities itself, what we have studied, it's enough. Everything else will come. When it comes, then I will also come and give the lecture. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.